Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Tech Toolkit Workshop, free and low-cost tools to improve organizational efficiency. My name is Sonia Varillo, and I'm the Genesee Valley Region Director. I'm happy to be presenting to you tonight, and I originally got some of the slide materials from Naomi Fersen, who presented a workshop similar to this at the 2019 National PTA Convention. I have subsequently presented a version of this workshop at past summership leadership conferences and conventions. I have updated this workshop for this 2021 Summer Leadership Conference with some personal organization tools that I have found to be very helpful to me, and I hope that they might be useful to you as well. Items that we will cover include TechSoup, Google Suite for nonprofits, online sign-up tools, Slack, Airtable, Zoom conferencing, Eventbrite, social media tools, online fundraising tools, and personal organization. TechSoup is a site that verifies nonprofit organizations and partners with various tech companies to provide those tools to verified 501c3 organizations at a lower cost. PTA organizations should register using their formal name, which is PTA New York Congress, with your state ID and their unit council name. You will also need your federal tax ID number in order to register. Once approved by TechSoup, organizations can then choose which programs they would like to apply for. It is important to note that all of the services and products obtained through TechSoup are solely the property of the PTA organization and do not belong to an individual officer or person. Examples of services that you can obtain from TechSoup include Google for Nonprofits, which is free, Intuit QuickBooks. Both the online and desktop versions are available for just the administrative fee charged by TechSoup. There are lots of other products and services that are available, so I would encourage you to check them out. Google for Nonprofits offers eligible organizations access to Google products and tools that can help them find new donors and volunteers, work more efficiently, and get supporters to take action. Organizations have access to 30 gigabytes of storage space per user across Gmail and Google Drive, as well as a shared drive of 30 gigabytes and access to Google Meet, which provides a video meeting platform for up to 100 participants. The process for how to create a Google for Nonprofits account is shown here. It is a multi-step process that requires time, usually 2 to 3 business days between a couple of steps. Prior to requesting Google for Nonprofits account, you must be registered and verified through TechSoup. It's important to note that this program does require a custom domain. If your organization doesn't already have a custom domain, you can purchase one through Google as part of the setup process. Most domains are $20 or less per year, and it is a valid PTA expense. For nonprofits, I would recommend that you use a custom domain that ends in .org. Google for Nonprofits includes a full suite of products, including these, plus YouTube, ad tools, etc. Google Gmail is perhaps the best known tool within Google. If your organization doesn't have the resources to purchase a domain and set up a nonprofits account, you can still create a central Google account for free. Just choose an email address ending in @gmail.com that is easily identifiable with your organization, and then give it that email address and password to the next officer in the future. This is a great way to start if your PTA board doesn't have the tech know-how. If you are planning to use Google for Nonprofits, then one of the first decisions you will have to make is how to set up the users on the account. Will you have them set up by person or by position? There are pros and cons to both. If you decide to set up the accounts by person, then the individual could keep their same account even if they were elected to a different position in the future. You could then utilize an alias address such as treasurer@domain.org, which would then be an additional email address that could be accessed by the individual. Google for Nonprofits allows you to also set up group email addresses that are automatically distributed to multiple people in your organization. Google Mail has options to sort incoming messages and even assign labels to messages so you can categorize and file them for later. Google Drive is what I like to think of as my digital PTA binder. It allows digital files to carry over easily from year to year. Create folders for each year, committee, event, or other need. Each successor has their work cut down exponentially by having quick and easy access to the previous year's files. Current leaders can provide total account access to all board members. link-based access, or share folders files on an individual basis. Google for Nonprofits does include a shared drive, which is automatically shared with all the users in your domain. Google Drive also has a drive for desktop that you can download, which allows you to access the contents of your Google Drive and shared drives just like you would any other folders on your computer. You can also access Google Drive on your mobile device, allowing your team to have access to files anytime, anywhere. Here is an example of how a Google Drive could be organized into folders and how you could share it. Google Calendar is a great tool to communicate about your organization's events and meetings. Calendars can be shared publicly and added to anyone's personal Google Calendar. Changes you make on a shared or subscribable calendar are updated and pushed out live. You can also embed a public calendar to your website or link to your social media accounts. Here is an example of an organization's Google Calendar. Notice the plus sign at the bottom right where someone would click to subscribe. Google Translation is a basic translation service that can help your organization if you don't have a live resource in your school or community. You can add translation capability to your custom website. You can also use Google Translate to help with other projects as well. It is worth noting that Google Translate is an artificial intelligence service, so it provides strict translation services only. If you need more than very basic translation services, you would be better off working with an individual, hopefully a district employee or community member who can provide the proper context and real-life translation needed for a truly effective communication with families that don't speak English. Documents, sheets, and slides. Oh my. Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides are similar to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. The main advantage is that these are online programs that make collaboration easy because all changes and revisions are made in real time and are viewable by multiple people at once. No more searching to make sure everyone's on the same version. Google Files can be converted from and downloaded to Microsoft tools if needed. When sharing files, you can also designate if people have the ability to edit the file directly, provide comments, or view only. Google Forms are a great tool for PTA organizations to utilize. You can create surveys, event registrations, voting ballots, etc. I even saw online where public libraries and other organizations used Google Forms to create digital escape rooms that people could do during the pandemic lockdown over the past year and a half. They were a lot of fun. Once forms are created, they can be easily distributed via email or link to those who need to complete them. Form answers are collected and summarized in charts and can be downloaded to a spreadsheet for further analysis. Online sign-up platforms like Sign-Up Genius and signup.com allow groups to create a web-based sign-up that can be easily shared with your parents and school community. Gone are the clipboards and sign-up sheets that get lost. Online sign-ups can accommodate both the need for items and the need for volunteers. And the best part is that they offer email reminders a day or two prior to the event to everyone that signed up. Both platforms are easy to copy past signups to use again for future events and programs. Unless your unit decides to purchase an upgraded account, I would recommend having the account be assigned to a standard email address that won't change from year to year. That way it's easier to keep everything in a central location and easily copy signups for the future. Here is an example of a sign up on signup.com that was created for items donation for a year-end awards night reception. Notice that there are slots for both actual food items and volunteers to help with the event. Slack is a platform that is great for defined groups that need to stay connected, such as PTA boards. It is a collaborative communication platform that replaces text, email, social media messages, etc. It works best when the group decides together to communicate solely through Slack, leaving those other options behind. Slack uses channels or topics to organize conversations. Channels can be private or public, open to everyone on the site, and the free plan allows you to search the most 10,000 recent messages. You can also attach files, pictures, use emojis, and more within the platform. Slack has a desktop version, web browser, and mobile device options, so you can always stay up to date. Here is an example of a Slack site that I use with my Genesee Valley region board members. You can see how we use it for our region board meeting messages and sending of files. Airtable is a cloud-based platform that is like a spreadsheet on steroids. You can add pictures, files, and other data to records. The free plan allows for up to 1,200 records per sheet or base. An example of a use of this Airtable platform would be to keep track of reflections entries. When I had originally given this workshop prior to March 2020, not many people had heard of Zoom. That has certainly changed now. Zoom video conferencing was one of the most widely used tools during the closures and restrictions on public meetings. Zoom has a free plan, but I do recommend that units include a Zoom Pro plan into their budget. The Pro plan is much more stable, allowing you to host meetings of any duration, and you can also record meetings and save them either to your account in the cloud, as long as they are less than 1 gigabyte, or you can save them to your computer. There are some important account settings that I recommend the PTA units choose when setting up their Pro account. The waiting room is an exclusive Zoom feature that allows the host to see who wants to come into your virtual meeting space prior to them actually entering. Co-hosts can be any other person in the meeting that the host designates, and they can share in some of the administrative tasks that hosts have, such as letting people in from a waiting room, muting, unmuting participants, sharing their screen if you have it set for hosts only, etc. Breakout rooms are another great feature that allow you to break up your main meeting into smaller virtual spaces that are great for smaller conversations. Here are my suggestions for what to do when hosting virtual meetings. Many of these bullet points came as a result of one of my meetings getting disrupted by someone who was not supposed to be there. We discovered that they had found the meeting registration link on our PTA unit social media page and had entered in fictitious data in the registration fields. In Zoom registration, when auto approval is turned on, then they automatically get the link to the meeting no matter what they type into the registration fields. It's something to consider when looking at how you are going to create a safe meeting space for everyone. Here are some screenshots of what you have available when you use the registration feature. You do have the ability to add custom questions to the Zoom registration form. The only downside is that these reports can only be pulled from the host Zoom account on a web browser. So keep that in mind, particularly if you have multiple people organizing the meeting. Of course, an alternate method would be to use another type of online form to collect registration information and then only send the Zoom link to those people that register on time. Eventbrite is a great event platform that I have used with several PTA units. I initially used it to organize an after-school club program for an elementary unit. We created different tickets for each club and set the capacity for each. We set the registration to go live at a specific date and time, and parents were able to go in and see registration limits and what clubs were full live. Eventbrite does have a fee structure, but if your event is free, there are no fees to use the platform. You can collect registration information on a per person basis and have custom questions on the registration form. We used Eventbrite for families to reserve tickets for a science fair event, and they brought in their tickets on either paper or a mobile device, and we had ticket takers just scan the QR code on the ticket to let them in. Eventbrite also works extremely well for virtual events. You can link your event to your Zoom, Google Meet, or other video meeting platform, and Eventbrite will provide you with an online event page where you can share files and other information that people will need for the event. I highly recommend that you check out Eventbrite. Social media is another communication tool that PTA units should be familiar with. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, or TikTok, the first question to ask is what platforms are being used by parents and students that I want to communicate with. Buffer is a social media marketing platform that I have found to be extremely helpful. I use Facebook mostly for my personal use, but I know that a lot of the parents and students in my units want to communicate with me are on Twitter and or Instagram. Buffer allows me to cross-post on multiple accounts and even schedule those posts in advance. The basic free plan on Buffer allows users to link up to 3 social media accounts and schedule up to 10 posts. This is a screenshot of what the scheduling queue looks like in Buffer. As you can see, there are day and time slots that you can customize. Buffer has really been a great tool to allow me to post easily to multiple social media accounts. You can see on this screen that Buffer does have analytics and engagement sections, but those are an upgrade from the free basic plan. Canva is a graphic designer platform that allows you to create all sorts of content. This cloud-based platform can be used on a web browser or mobile device to create social media posts, flyers, newsletters, etc. They do have a nonprofit program that gives you a free pro account. Just search for Canva for non-for-profits for more information. Canva has thousands of templates and elements. You definitely get more from having a pro account, as well as letting you upload your own images. Pro account users can also set up their preferred brand content with specific colors, logos, etc. These are some examples of content that I have created in Canva. Whether you're using them in social media posts or other creative content, the role of pictures and visuals has never been more important. We do have to be careful, though, to make sure that we are not using copyrighted images. These are some examples of sites and companies that provide royalty-free images, meaning they don't usually cost any money to use. Some of them do have requirements that you include the site name and sometimes the original creator as an attribution. Here are some examples of some online fundraising sites that I've used in my work with PTA units. 32 Auctions, Benefit, Amazon Smile, and Shop with Script. 32 Auctions is an online auction site that you can use for like a silent auction. So we use this, you can easily create up to so many items. Sometimes you pay if you want to have up to 100 items. You could pay $30 as a one-time charge. You can add images. It's mobile friendly, and it's a great site to consider. Some things to consider with 32 Auctions is they do accept Stripe, PayPal account to your auction. You can also use their platform for processing fees. Payments are automatically tracked. You can also allow for offline payments if you'd like. So I do encourage, my unit did have great success with 32 Auctions if you're looking for like a silent auction platform to use. Amazon Smile is a program that I hope many people are using. Amazon Smile is easy to set up with Amazon, and anytime anybody shops on Amazon, if they put in your organization at Amazon Smile, then your organization receives a portion of their purchase. Here's the steps to register for an Amazon Smile account. Donations from Amazon Smile are deposited on a quarterly basis. The minimum amount that a charitable organization must accrue is $5. And if you don't accrue $5, then it carries over to the next period. PTA units that use Amazon Smile can also create charity lists. That could be a great way to ask for real items that you might need for an event. And then it's sort of like a registry that people can register, and then the items would be shipped directly to you. Benefit is an online gift card platform that you can use where people purchase online gift cards, and a percentage of the purchase gift card comes back to your unit. Shop with Script allows people to purchase real gift cards, actual gift cards, and again, a PTA unit could receive a percentage of the purchase price. One of the best things that I like about the Shop with Script program is one of the things they offer is a Visa gift card. And the advantage of getting the Visa gift card with Shop with Script is there is no processing fee. So if somebody wants to purchase a $100 gift card, they would pay just $100. And the middle school unit that I use the Shop with Script program for, we only offer this basically one time a year, and we do it in November, December to correlate with holiday shopping. Okay, personal organization. So this is the brand new part of the workshop that I have never presented before, but these are a couple tools that I have used over the past a couple of years at least that have helped me immensely in keeping up with all of the Google for Nonprofit accounts that I have set up for like the 4 units that I'm involved in and everything else. So Shift allows you to organize all of your Google accounts so you can have as many Google accounts as you have access to. Instead of having them set up on your Chrome browser or on your web browser, this is a dedicated workspace and allows you to keep logged into those accounts. And you just are able to switch from one account to the other. As you can see here, you can just change from one account to the other, and you don't have to keep logging and typing in your information. You can also connect different apps. So here's an example of different apps. And so an example of how I've used this is like with my buffer account. So I am a unit officer, and then I'm also region director. So I have 2 different buffer accounts, one for my unit and one for my region. So I have 2 buffer apps on here, one with each login, and allows me to keep them straight. And so when I click on the apps button for buffer for my region, I'm always logged into my region account. When I'm logged into buffer for my unit, I'm always logged into my unit account. You can also search anything that you do in Shift. So if you're searching for an email or you're searching for a file, and you don't remember what account it came in, you can use the search function up here, type it in, and it'll pull it from whatever account that it's listed in. So Shift is not a free tool. It is a free tool, but in order to really, if you're a super user like me and you have 5, 6, 7 Google accounts, I really recommend the personal investment in the advanced. Again, this would be a personal expense, not a PTA expense. These are personal tools that I'm talking about. So, but I have found that for me especially, it has helped me tremendously. I can keep track of all my different email accounts. I can keep track of all my different Google Drives. I can keep track of all my different online platforms that I'm using, Slack for one site, Slack for another site. I can keep track of them all in Shift, and I can just move from one to the other seamlessly. It's been a great tool. Edison Mail is an email platform. I was having trouble with my mail app on my iPhone, and so that's what prompted me to find Edison. You keep track of multiple email accounts. You can customize signatures per account. Some people have asked me about, you can include pictures. So I know like for our region or my state email accounts, we have our logo, our president's logo is always on our signature. I can include that in the emails that I send from my Edison app on my phone or on my tablet. They also have it available for the Mac if you need to use that. So if you're a person that goes from one email account to another, I use Shift on my IBM computer to keep track of all my emails. I use Edison on my tablet and my mobile device. So those are just some of the examples of some of the tech tools that I use on a pretty much daily basis to help with all the PTA work that I do at both the unit level, the region level, and the state level. I hope that these tools were helpful for you. I'm looking forward to communicating with you in the chat and finding out all of your questions, but I hope that this workshop's been helpful. I will be posting or making sure that they post on the website a copy of my slides. I do have links embedded in my slides, so if you have additional questions or want to go directly to the sites, I would encourage you to download the handout file that would be attributed to this workshop. And in the meantime, I look forward to chatting with you via chat. Thanks so much.